Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your friend, Noxious Karn here again to read you another tale from the glorious tome known as the Internet. Today, we'll be reading My Daughter's Imaginary Friend. My daughter first saw her imaginary friend in a local coffee shop in late October. She described him as a friendly old chap who wriggled around a bit silly-like, and since he never told her his name, she simply referred to him as Mr. Tentacle. Now, if you've ever dealt with children, I'll translate. Mr. 10 Ankles. She called him that for his silly wriggling, and would often imitate him dancing around, flailing her arms and laughing as she sung his name. He didn't show up too often, which we found a bit strange for an imaginary friend. But whenever he did, she said he was standing behind someone, hugging them and whispering in their ear. It didn't faze us too much until she saw him hugging Grandma. She died the next day. My husband didn't want to read too much into it, but I started asking her more and more about this silly man she could see, who he was hugging, if he ever spoke to her, and why she thought he had 10 ankles. "Mommy can't see him," is about the best response I ever got out of her. Every other time she'd run around in circles, flailing her arms about while singing his name. I was running late one day, taking her with me for some errands, when she grabbed my hand and wouldn't let me move. "Sweetie, Mommy has to get money from the... Mr. 10 Ankles says no." Well, that was new. What was he saying no to? Mommy? The bank? She shook her head, staring past me and pointing at a remarkably plain car. A couple of men walked out towards the bank. "He's touching their shoulders, Mommy. The bad men." Before I could make any sense of anything, they pulled out guns and began shooting inside the bank. I grabbed my daughter and ran as fast as I could to get away. Fortunately, it didn't seem to traumatize her, but I eventually theorized Mr. 10 Ankles would hug those about to die and massage the shoulders of those about to kill. I asked more questions. I'll admit, I got a little paranoid about the whole thing. It wasn't so much that he seemed to be a bit more real than some imaginary friend, but why was my daughter the only one who could see him? My marriage became a bit strained. We argued a bit more than usual, and my husband distanced himself from it all. "It's just a coincidence, damn it," he would say. I wasn't so sure, but I had to stop obsessing, or I'd lose him. Today, though, my daughter and I had an interesting conversation. "Mommy's not bad, Mr. 10 Ankle. Stop touching her." I froze. Stroke? Heart attack? Car accident? Honey? What's Mr. 10 Ankles doing to Mommy?" "Not 10 ankles, Mommy. Tentacles." "Mr. Tentacles? Why is Mr. Tentacles touching Mommy, sweetheart?" "I don't know. He's being dumb. He was hugging Daddy and Auntie when they wrestled yesterday, too."